Happy April Fool's Day, exercise science anatomy class. You will have what would amount to be some form of a test, probably going to be assigned sometime later today or as late as tomorrow, depending on when I get finished with it. This is new ground for me, obviously, too. Online assessments, a little bit different. What you're going to see from me in some form or another is some type of mini project. When I say that, I don't want anybody throwing their hands up in the air. I have enough projects to do already. I'm sure you do. When I say mini, I mean that it's going to be designed to be less than, or about the same time as what you would normally use to take one of my tests. Half hour's worth of work, hopefully, at best. I've already asked all the questions on the review sheet. We've already addressed most of the terms, at least directly or indirectly, through my questions, things that I've asked you to do with the notes. We've done that already. I'm not just going to simply upload a copy of an old test so you can fill in the blanks, mindlessly doing that. What I'm going to do, however, is I'm going to use all this information on this review sheet, the terms and the questions, to generate something specific for exercise science. Something that you would possibly or potentially have to deal with as it relates to the endocrine system. And as I've already asked you a few questions, a couple specific ones, how would you deal with somebody who's a diabetic? I haven't asked you anything about, how would you deal with somebody who has hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism? But that's going to be the type of line of questioning. There may be a couple, 2 or 3 questions, separate questions. There may be one large one. It just depends what I create in my brain over the next 24 hours. Bottom line is, I want you to be able to take this information that we've covered on this sheet, and I have this review sheet in front of me, and you can also print it out if you'd like to. My expectations are you're going to at least look over it. It's there on Google Classroom. All you have to do is open it up. So when you look at the terms, be able to apply the terms. Make sure that you understand all the terms on there, and if you see something that's totally unfamiliar with you, take 15 seconds, look it up, look in my notes, or just simply search it, on your device. And when you look at the questions, each of the questions I'm going to somehow try to build into the project. I'm not going to, ask little pieces and parts, each question, how does it apply to the bigger question? But somehow, some way, I'm going to look at a topic, a scenario, a problem, and I'm going to have you address that using the information that would be typically addressed with this line of questioning that I have on the review sheet. So your job, when you're doing this test, so to speak, is to do the best you can to give me answers that aren't just simply cut and paste from the internet, answers that aren't just simply cut and paste from my notes, but I'm going to attempt to provoke some real thinking from you, where you're going to have to address a situation or solve a problem as it relates to a patient that you would deal with, who might be somebody who you're training, somebody that you're doing therapy with, whether it be occupational, physical therapy, some setting, and how it relates to the endocrine system. And again, I will figure out some different things. It's probably going to be related to underlying conditions, where you have somebody coming in that needs some type of musculoskeletal therapy, and that might be exacerbated by an endocrine condition they have, that type of thing. Again, I have not thought or formulated how I'm exactly going to do this, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of information, a short little video here to kind of explain the great unknown. Is Mr. Spano just going to upload an old test and have us, copy it and scan it in so we can grade it? No. I don't know, maybe down the road that, over next chapter or two, we'll give that a shot, depending on how this works out. But if you guys can show me that you understand the material and that you're able to apply the material, especially to your specific discipline, which obviously is exercise science, then there's no need for me to give you just a paper test. The things that I attempt to accomplish in the classroom during lecture, and even somewhat on the test, some of the line of questioning, I can get from a project like this. So that's going to be my job over the next day, half a day, to give you a couple questions, or one good big question that will allow me to assess the fact that you understand what this chapter was all about and how it applies to what you're doing. Have a good day. Enjoy the day. Get outside if you can. And I'll be back in touch within the next 24 hours.